Hi, I'm Bruce Morrison from Meguiar's. Here we are at Summernats 34. Great thing about that means there's been 34 of them. And we've been supporting, in some way, shape or form, Summernats now for 30 years. So it's been a long time. We've seen a lot of things at Summernats. It's from its crazy times to its more sensible, sane times these days. But a good friend of mine here, Peter Fitzpatrick, known for 30 years,
30 years,
must be something like that.
Yeah.
We go back when our kids were proper kids, as opposed to talking about them as kids when they're now 35 or something.
Yeah.
So really, Summernats, for those who know it really well. Most people who have been to Summernats might come to a whole bunch of them, might come every year, right, like we have. And may have started as kids and grow up as adults, end up old blokes like us, still can.
Yeah.
But those for the uninitiated, right, it's described as a car festival. Summernats is definitely a car festival. It's about cars, the lifestyle around it, all the elements of it.
Yeah.
Held in Canberra. But it's hard to describe to someone who has never been to Summernats. Being an entrant of many times and all those years, how do you think you'd describe Summernats to someone who's never been here?
Well, I think it is probably the craziest car festival in the world. I've been to a few around the place over the years, and it's a gathering of different aspects of different car people. They've got your show car, you've got your street cars, you've got your burnout cars, you've got your dyno cars. So, but at the end of the day, it's all about the cars and the motor vehicle industry. So, to me, it's a great aspect of all things great with motor vehicles and cars and people, how they modify them into the form of artwork that they are, because they are artwork, because a lot of these cars you won't ever see one of. You probably never see it anywhere else.
Summernats is about cars, but it's about modified or customised cars. There's no production cars at Summernats. They're usually older cars that have been extensively either completely rebuilt or modified.
Yeah.
To give people an idea, typically there'd be either between 2,000 and 2,500 entrants. That's cars entered at the show.
Yeah.
And crowds can be anywhere up to 120 odd thousand. It won't be this year because of COVID, but it's typically been started small with probably 20,000 people, but gets into the 80, 90, 100,000, 120,000 people. So it's far more popular than people think. And as you said, Fitzy, it's got different elements to it. Behind us here is a lot of what I describe as super elite cars.
Exactly,
Through the street elite in the way they're built, and the finessing and the refinement, attention to detail. It's crazy. You've done this, I know.
Yeah.
Right through to burnouts and wild rides in the street out there. So it really does have a bit of everything, doesn't it?
It does, and another aspect of the Summernats now is that there's a lot of the young guys that they're going finding cars that are 50, 60-year-old with the patina on them, and they just drop them down in the weeds. They get their mates in, they go cruising here all weekend, and you look at them and go, you know, that's just something different. That's another aspect that basically sort of started here at the Summernats with like just a cruise car that you may just build it for the Summernats to come cruising with all your mates, because at the end of the day, that's what they love doing, and it's about a lifestyle, which is cars.
I think that's an important part, isn't it? A lifestyle has to involve people, right? So it's a good catch up. You and I often just catch up every year. The year goes by like that, and we catch up at either Summernats or MotorX or both. So it is a social event, right? And I think what people miss in the digital world and the COVID world is catching up with other people who have a common interest, right?
Yeah, like we've missed it. This is, last year we missed it because of COVID, and it's been great. Like a lot of people going, oh, geez, you're coming to get something and that's again. I said, yeah, but you're coming here with your cars, but you're coming here to catch up with people because you haven't seen them for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So that part of it has been really good, and it's like you said, it's just a lifestyle thing, and you meet people from all over the world. And I've been fortunate to meet, you know, people from America, people from England, people from New Zealand, and it's just been great of the car people all over the world. And there's one thing common with car people: if they love cars, and it really it shouldn't matter what it is. And that's like with the cars here, like you said before. There's not one car in here the same, but because they've been hand built to a design for the owner.
Yeah, fully customised, right? You don't buy a design.
No.
You don't.
No.
You might see something you like, but you typically don't copy it, do you? You see it for inspiration. You take your version of what you may see somewhere else and morph it into your own. we'll see when you look around the judging pavilion, or Meguiar's judging pavilion it's called here, is the variety of cars. It's very Ford, Chev, Holden territory. It's muscle car area. It goes back into hot rods as well, all right, rather than the later model stuff.
Yeah.
But it does give young people a great opportunity, doesn't it, to get something that's an old shell or old body and make into something of their own, learn how to work on cars, not just change the tyre. Like these days, you're happy if someone learns how to change a flat tyre, right? These people actually know how to almost rebuild and customise a car.
And they do, and the thing I've found over the years, which is a bit flattering, and it sort of comes back to sort of like you said before, and how long we've known each other. I've gone to car shows, and I met a guy. It was over in Perth actually, and he came up to me and he said, "I've been following you since I was at school." And I thought he was talking about his son next to him. And he said, no, not him. And like, he's 6 foot tall. He said, no, I've been following you since I was at school. And I go, well, it just makes you feel like you're a bit of a vintage. But it's things like that. And he'd followed me with my cars and that all around through the magazines, and he'd never ever seen it. And to me, that was a bigger buzz, because he's come up and said, hey, I've been following your cars for 30 years. And I'm going, wow, you know, that was pretty cool.
So, mate, let's work in a shameless plug for Meguiar's.
Yeah.
And really, that's how we got to know each other. In Meguiar's, if you don't know us, we're a brand that helps make cars really shiny. I mean, really shiny, right? That's what we do.
Yep.
Paint, any bright work, interior, anything. It's car care. It's what we do. And we got to know each other that way. I remember coming to Canberra a couple of times, roughing your car, sort of showing you the process. I think people really at this sort of level, this super elite level, wouldn't imagine how much time and effort goes into making paintwork flawless. Now, we're not going to talk about the products, so we're not going to try and bore you with every product you use. I know you trust our products and our program and the buffing and the pads and the chemicals, but it is like, it's a true labour of love, right? You must spend, what do you think to get your car super shiny like it is and flawless like that, no swirls, marks? How long per panel, mate?
Well, that's hard. I've sort of never ever put an hour time on it, but when I redid the FC the last time, I did do it. We turned it over to do the undercarriage, so it had nothing in the car, no front end, no rear end, no mud guards.
Sorry, just to phrase it for everybody, he's talking about buffing and polishing the underneath of the car, just to give you some perspective here, not just the top.
So the car was tipped over on its side, and so I just done a note. There was a few of us doing it, so we had to flat rub and buff it. So this is the underside of the car. The mud guards weren't on it. The rear arches where the tubs are. We spent 105 hours flat rubbing and buffing the underside of the car. So if you ask me how long we spent on the outside of the car, the rest of the car, to guesstimate, I don't know. And because it's with us,
let's just say it's weeks, not hours, right?
Weeks and weeks and hours, not hours. And once you get it to that level, and to keep it to that level, it's just not a matter of going washing it and doing it, because we want it so you can walk it past, and you know the wife can come out and do a makeup in the rear panel. So that's how we look after our cars in the high end, and it's easy to keep it to that. You just got to get it to that. Like,
because we make products that help you keep it that way. That's lucky, isn't it?
Yeah, it is great. And there is a process in it, and like Bruce said, not everyone can get the same result. Otherwise, unless they use Meguiar's, they certainly can get the result out of their car. But the products make it easier, and to keep the car in pristine condition.
Yeah, but it's a true labour of love, though, isn't it? There's time, effort. The fussier you are, the more perfection you want. The more time you have to spend, especially the darker the colour, all that kind of thing. So that's what we do, though, right? If you look around this pavilion, all the different cars in here, there are probably 60 or 70 cars in here. They're generally all flawless, all super shiny, all glossy. They're not everybody's cup of tea, but normally what people really appreciate is what's gone in, what effort and labour, time. There's plenty of money that goes in, but it's way more time and effort than money, right? And I think that's what we admire, that craftsmanship, the excellence of it all. Chasing perfection's a hard thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and to get, like you said, it is a labour of love, and you know, like people say, look, you know, what would it cost me to buff my car like yours? And you go, well, you need to go out there and just spend the hours and hours and hours. And like you said, it is countless hours. And to keep that perfection and to keep that killer shine on your car, it takes work.
Yeah.
But in the other side, my work cars, I still clean them with Meguiar's as well, because you can. It's just a better product that you can use on your car to keep that pristine part.
The good thing is, we do make a lot of products that give you shortcuts. So not everybody wants that perfect show car finish.
Yeah.
And it's just about having shortcuts to do regular things like your ute or your everyday driver. Fortunately, we make a whole lot of other products that allow products that that not 200 hours to be spent.
Yeah.
So we try and make something to fit all occasions. It's still chasing excellence though.
Yeah, for sure it is. And like once you've been into cars like ourselves, like myself, you like all your cars to look that good.
Yeah.
So and not to that nth degree that my show car is, but you like all your cars to look pristine.
Yeah. All right, well, that pretty much sums it up for us at the Meguiar's Judging Pavilion at Summernats 34, celebrating 30 odd years of Summernats, Fitzy.
Yeah.
Great to catch up again, mate.
And
Happy New Year.
And the other thing is, like, we've been family friends for that long, so which is, like I said before, it's not only about the cars, it's about the friendships you make. And I've been privileged to be friends of yours for 30 plus years.
Champion,
and our
mate.
kids grew up together.
So it works.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you. That's out.